Ooh, what's up guys, Nanja here. This is going to be part 3 of my series. This time it's going to be versus Forestcraft. This game was kind of weird overall because I kind of felt like my opponent could have won just by the nature of how big his hand was the entire game. However, I guess he just didn't have the answers. I'm not sure. Alright, so I go ahead and throw back everything. I get Oracle, I get Rahab. This is really nice. I also get Breath of the Salamander. These are all cards that you want to see in the Forest matchup. I also get Blazing Breath on top of that, so this is really good for me. He does miss his turn 1, which is superb. Just because if he had turn 1 Fairy Circle, turn 2 play 2 fairies, turn 3 Ancient Elf, that'd be a problem for me just because the Ancient Elf would be annoyingly large, and I would have to take damage on my Rahab as well as use up Breath of Salamander early. I do draw the Fervor. This is nice. You want to see Fervor as early as possible, and this is the ideal dragon hand that you want to get. So it doesn't matter that he developed this, just because I want to play Fervor. Alright, so this turn I did actually misplay. I knew that next turn he was going to want to EPM, just because EPM is the ideal turn 4 play for Forest, and I should have gone ahead and bumped in Rahab into Grimnir, just because even though the Grimnir won't die, this will mean that when I play Breath of Salamander next turn on his play, that everything will die all at once. It won't just be like an incomplete clear. And it's really important when you play stuff like Breath of the Salamander, that you wipe off as many things as possible in the same turn, just because generally if anything sticks, especially a ward, it can prove problematic, because then they can go ahead and evolve certain things. Especially in this matchup, he could go ahead and evolve Fina, and that'd be a 5/6 that's behind a ward, versus a class that you don't want to take the damage versus at all, next to say Blood or like Shadow. But yeah, really a big misplay on my part. And I do get punished. He does have the EPM. Alright, and so now I draw the Fervor. I go ahead and Fervor anyway, just because I want to see as many cards in this matchup while I have the chance to do so. But because of the earlier misplay, that is still a problem, because he does have something behind a ward. I guess he got a little bit scared here, so he went ahead and played out Crystalia Tia. And this was fine for me, because I can still clear it. However, my hand isn't the best, so I'm going to keep trying to dig for more cards. I know I've already gone through quite a bit of my deck. Yeah, I'm already 5 cards ahead of him. However, it was really important that I try to dig for Polyphonic Roar as fast as possible, just because Polyphonic Roar is a good way of how you can win the matchup versus Forest, just because it's a lot easier to do things as Dragon when suddenly you have an inflated mana pool. But I'll go ahead and talk about that in another video. So here he plays the Goblin Mage. He still has Zeracos in his hand, and so he can still do quite a bit of damage to me. He does get a full clear. However, he doesn't evolve. I always forget the Soka's name. He doesn't evolve his 4/4, and that leaves him open to getting Grimnir'd. However, because he's kept his hand size so large, I now have to question whether or not he might be Wolf Bolt, and this is important because right now I'm currently in Wolf range of him sacrificing his Wolf, then getting a Silver Bolt, and then double silver bolting me in the face. I want to try to be at 19 HP if possible, maybe even more than that, and preferably behind wards. So here he goes Goblin Mage. And then he goes Liza. This Lazo was actually a huge issue, because now it meant that I couldn't just Grimner him again, because versus Wolf Bolt, you want to try to make sure that you don't give their wolf a target to crash into, like, or that when you do, that you can go ahead and kill them on the next turn. Just because the wolf represents so much damage, because again, he has 0 cost in his hand. He's potentially already drawn or seen 2 roaches, maybe even just 1 instant bounces. But the point is that he has a lot of damage in his hand, and that now I have to take a very, very risky line. I have to go Zeus, but I can't evo the Zeus just because this is my last evo, and if he has something like Dance of Death or Crystalia Lily, then he can go ahead and nullify my Zeus and then go ahead and hit me for extra damage. And this would be a problem if I were to top deck Israfil next turn or something like that, just because I really need to get all this stuff off the board. However, I go ahead and play Zeus, and I go ahead and just hit him in the face. It's important right now that I go ahead and pressure him as much as possible, and I don't play safe, because he is a combo deck. Alright, now here, this was a mistake. I highly question what it was that they had in his hand that he felt that he could make this play, just because the Elf Queen doesn't actually do anything. It heals you up in a matchup where you're already favored, and you still can't actually clear off my Zeus. You're just, yeah, like, this is basically a do nothing play, and I was kind of confused as to how his hand was so dead. Like, he's almost at the halfway point of his deck, so it's just really weird that he would go for this line, because again, he doesn't actually clear the Zeus, so technically he's only healing for 4. And this Zeus staying alive gives me a lot of breathing room, just because he does sacrifice his entire board, well, almost his entire board, into the Zeus, which again was also another questionable play. But here I do draw the Israfil that I mentioned, so I get to heal up to 19. So even if he has a wolf now, it won't matter, because I'll just barely be out of range of getting bursted down by double wolf. Or sorry, by double bolt. Sorry about that. But yeah. But now he's under more pressure again. He's back at 13, and I now have an Israfil behind a ward. This is important because Force doesn't have that many ways of dealing with this, with what I currently have on the board. He would have to either sacrifice 2 roaches into this, or he would have to go maybe something like Sylvan Justice on the Zeus, May roll a 50-50 to see if he hits Zeus or not, sacrifice a roach, or conversely, if he doesn't have that, drop most of his hand and sacrifice 2 roaches in order to clear this both in the same turn. And that's a lot of resources for him, when clearly he was trying to build up a hand so that way he could roach me in the face. It was really important in that game for him to, for me to take the risk to play Zeus and go ahead and go face, just because it's important to realize in unfavored matchups when you need to clear and when you need to go face. And it was also important for me for him to go ahead and choke the way that he did, and not have an answer to Zeus. There's almost no way that he didn't have a roach, or that he didn't have some form of an answer to that card. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.